Look at us. Episode 132. It is April 29th, 2024. We've been at this for 132 weeks plus. I like what's going on. 132 weeks plus.
Not at my end.
I like what's going on. Man, we're echoing everywhere.
Well, I have headsets on, and so does Mandy.
Well, I just put mine on.
Everywhere. All right.
Well, I have headsets on, and so does Mandy.
I just put mine on.
Is your TV on? I have headsets on, and so does Mandy. Is your TV on?
No.
I have headsets on.
The only thing I got on is this.
Is your TV on?
No. The only thing I got on is this. I hate technology.
You said it was a comedy night.
Yeah, it's comedy night, all right. I hate technology.
You said it was a comedy night.
Yeah, it's comedy night, all right.
My secondary computer is muted, so there's no sound from it now. Plus, I have the headphones on, so I don't know. My secondary computer is muted. So
Mandy and I aren't muted.
Mayhem is muted.
And now there's no.
It's always his computer.
It is always his computer.
Mayhem is muted.
Oh, hush.
And now there's no.
It's always his computer.
It is always his computer.
Oh, hush.
That's a long delay, too.
It is. That's why it's confusing.
Is there another screen open on your computer somewhere? Or another computer or something? He's muted again.
Yeah, but it is it is supposed to be comedy.
I find it weird it wasn't until the video started, so he has to have YouTube running somewhere.
Somewhere. Yep.
I think I found it.
There you go. Yay.
I did.
What was it?
I had a secondary screen open with the podcast on it. So belay that I said there's nothing going on upstairs. And cheers. My fault. Captain's not very technologically savvy, if you know what I mean. But welcome to the Captain's Quarters Podcast, episode 132. And as always, how can you find us? I see we have a new watcher also, Miss Esther. Hey, everybody wave at her. We're going to talk about her in just a few minutes. Well, actually, probably more talk about her grandson. But how do you find us? Go ahead, Davey. What is it? YouTube. There's the QR code. You can watch us every week at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it is wonderful to have more and more people be a part of our show. And as always, every week is different. We would like you to go on YouTube and like us, follow us, and subscribe to us. There's nothing better than having you click all three of those and being a part of the Captain's Quarters Podcast. Upon that note, we always like to start off with the honoring of people who have passed on. That is called 8 Bells. Sponsored by our good friends at the Rikers Family of Reenactors. Ladies and gentlemen, they do it all. Spanish, they do British, and they do pirate. And they are esteemed members of the St. Augustine Pirate Crew, the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. How many do we have this week, Davey?
8.
Oh, again? All right. Man, you're really getting me there. Go ahead. Let's see what we have. Robert Lee Chan Romero, an American rock and roll performer, best known for his 1959 song, Hippie Hippie Shake. Romero became the first Latino to be inducted into the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. He was 82 years old. Arthur Lee Whittington, an American professional football player who was a running back in the National Football League. He played college football for the SMU Mustangs. Selected in the 7th round of the 78 NFL draft, Whittingham played in the NFL for 5 seasons with the Oakland Raiders and the Buffalo Bills. From 83 to 85, he played with the Oakland Invaders of the United States Football League. He was 68. Pardon, hold. Wow. Terry Carter, an American actor and filmmaker known for his role as Sergeant Joe Broadhurst for the TV series McCloud and as Colonel Ty on the original Battlestar Galactica. He was 95 years old. I'm going to sneeze again, so stand by. Blimey. What a good start to the show tonight. Wow. All right, let's see. Florian W. Chmielewski Sr., an American musician and politician. He played as an accordion player with the Chmielewski Family Fun Time Band, performing polka music throughout the Midwest. He was elected into the Senate in 1970, became chair of the Employment Committee in 81. He was 97 years old. Donald Eugene Peterson, an American businessman who was employed by the Ford Motor Company for 4 years, most notably as its chief executive officer from 85 to 90. Peterson was a member of the Business Council, the National Academy of Engineering, SAE, and the Engineering Society of Detroit, and he was Mensa. He was 97 years old. Robert Cecil Cole, CM, was a Canadian sports television announcer who worked for CBC and Sportsnet, and he was a competitive curler. He was known primarily for his work on Hockey Night in Canada. In 2022, he was named the recipient of the Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television's Lifetime Achievement Award at the 10th Canadian Screen Awards. He was 90 years old. Marla Adams, an American television actress best known for her roles as Belle Clemens on The Street Storm from 68 to 78, and as Dina Abbott Mergeron on The Young and the Restless, for which she received Daytime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series. She was 85 years old. And Corey Cunningham, an American professional football player, was an offensive tackle in the National Football League from 2018 to 22. He played college football for the Cincinnati Bearcats and was selected by the Arizona Cardinals in the 7th round for the 2018 NFL Draft. He played in the NFL for the Cardinals, New England Patriots, and New York Giants. He was only 28 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our 8 bells for this week, April 29th, 2024. We raise our glass. We raise our honors to all of them and their fans and loved ones. 8 bells, Davey. Very good. And as always, we go right into Mini-Me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mini-Me is sponsored by our good friend, the comic drawer artist extraordinaire out of Utah, Salt City Comics. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mini-Me.
Ahoy, mates! Mini Mayhem here with Joke of the Week, sponsored by Salt City Comics. How do pirates like their eggs? Think about it, and I will give you the answer at the end of the show.
Now I'm trying to figure out how pirates like their eggs. Well, that'll be a good one. Very good, Davey. Very good. And next on our agenda, as always, our next segment up, Question of the Week by Spyglass Travel. Ladies and gentlemen, you want a good walking tour of St. Augustine? Then call up Spyglass Travel. My friends Kevin and Angie Rose. They do a great job. You'll get some exercise and learn some history of the world's oldest city in the nation. Spyglass Travel presenting Quote of the Week. We are not given a good life or a bad life. We are given a life. It is up to us to make it good or make it bad. Very good, Davey. That's a good one. Unknown author on that, but that's a good one. And I think it'll tie right in with what we're going to do later on in the show. How about question of the week? Ancient City Sirens. You know Miss Gina. Everybody loves her. And the girls all providing dance for everything we do. Tribal dance, belly dance, fusion dance, you name it, they can do it. I'm sure there's stuff that they can do I haven't even figured out yet. But Ancient City Sirens. And question of the week. So May is coming around 2 days from now in the beginning of summer. So it's time to talk about vacations. If you could vacation anywhere in the world, where would it be? Where do you want to go that you haven't been? Or where have you been that you want to go again? So let's find out where everybody would like to go and take their vacations. On that note, this week in nautical history, sponsored by our good friends, the Florida Water Tours people here in St. Augustine. You want a good trip around the Matanzas Bay? Why, guess what? You got to call Florida Water Tours. They provide a great time. The crew of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers have taken 2 trips on board. The first one, so they could see the night of lights from the water. What a great trip that was. So call up Florida Water Tours, ladies and gentlemen, and be a part of what they do. For now, let's go with This Week in Nautical History.
Welcome to This Week in Nautical History, sponsored by our friends at Florida Water Tours. Experience the Intercoastal Waterway at its finest, featuring picture-perfect attractions. We begin This Week in Nautical History in the year 1497. John Cabot's expedition departs Bristol, searching for new lands across the Atlantic. 1562. Jean Ribault, the colonists arrive in Florida, the first French colonists in North America. 1587. English naval officer Francis Drake sails into Cadiz, Spain, and sinks the Spanish fleet, thereby singeing the King of Spain's beard and delaying the Spanish invasion by a year. 1624. Spanish Silver Fleet sails to Panama. 1781. French fleet occupies Tobago during the American War of Independence. 1898. U.S. Admiral George Dewey commands, "You may fire when you are ready, Gridley," as U.S. routes Spanish fleet at Manila. 1915. British liner Lusitania leaves New York for Liverpool on its last fateful journey. And finally, 1942, first submarine built on Great Lake launched. Pito, Mantinoak, Wisconsin. And that was This Week in Nautical History.
Very good, Davey. Very good. And of course, you know that Jean Ribault in 1562 coming here to Florida and then building Fort Caroline in 1563 was one of the main reasons why Pedro Menendez comes in 1565 and begins the start of the oldest city in the United States. Sorry for that little delay. I just saw something pop up on my screen. My grandson in Alabama is watching my show, or will probably from Facebook. I'm very excited for that. Very excited. So if he's watching now, hey, Jax, it's good to see you. Glad you're coming onto the show. And hey, we might have to get you on the show one day. We'll see what happens. All right. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, Crew Adventures. We're going to start something new in another week or two, where we're going to build some kind of a calendar. I haven't told Davey this yet, but I'm going to build some kind of a calendar that we can post, like the posts of other pictures and things that we do, and post something up so that we can start talking about all kinds of different pirate adventures that are all over the state. We're not going to stick with just St. Johns County. we're going to try to post all over the state any pirate events that are happening. If you have one, let us know. We'd like to put it on there. And we'll keep track, and we'll try to do it for 3, 4, and 5, maybe even 6 months out. So let's see what we can do. I'm working on it, started working on it this morning. We'll go from there. But we do have one thing that's Crew Adventures that I want to talk about, and I'm going to post something. Davey has shown me how to do a few things here. So I am able to do this right here. Watch very close. Let's see. First, I'm going to go down here. We have some new advertising things that we're going to do. I won't show you that yet, but I am going to show you this. Now, our newest person watching in the gallery tonight is Miss Esser. She's also a singer and part of a band here in the area. But she called me up and asked if I was going to be at the museum because her grandson is just wild about pirates. And boy, is he something else. And it was his 3rd birthday. And so they brought him down and we took a bunch of pictures. They wandered through the museum. I was on doing a tour while they were wandering about, and he came back into my tour and gave me a big hug while I was on tour. It made me feel very special. So that is her grandson. She can make comment because for the life of me, can't think of his name all of a sudden. So she can comment for me there in the comment section if she's able to do so. But there he is, firing the cannon. I had another picture of him holding his ears, but this one was a better picture of him firing the cannon. But he is just a great pirate. And he got treasure, and he got some coins, and he had a good old time. And this happens often. There is little mate Devin, and thank you. So it is something that happens all the time. In fact, I made me a note here. Let me see if I can find my notes. This kind of thing happens all the time with people calling up and wanting to come take pictures. I've had people take the same posed pictures, but an unusual one happened to me about 2 weeks ago, and the gentleman is now on my Facebook page. Pardon me. Oh, blimey. And let's see, I'm going to pull that one down. I'm a little slow. I'm not as quick as Davey doing this, but he's given me the opportunities to do it. So there was a tourist that came running up to me on the St. George Street the other day, and he was talking on his phone. He was doing a visual talk to his boys. He's from somewhere in the Midwest, and he had told them that he had been captured by pirates, but he just escaped. And then he hung up with them, and he wanted to know if I would do a quick video of him. And we went over into the grass area near the cemetery where the wall is and set a bottle of rum there. And he comes up and finds the bottle of rum, and then I jump out and try to capture him all over again. But he gives me the bottle of rum, and I let him go free. Well, he videotaped that for his boys so they could see the pirate that had captured him. And he sent me a thank you just a couple of days ago, and has now joined our ranks to keep an eye on everything that we're doing and see what's going on. So this happens all the time, and it's flattering. And I hardly will ever say no. Hardly at all. I've actually been known to put on my gear and go downtown just to do this and then turn around, come home and relax. So it is one of those things that I feel is a responsibility that as somebody that is, I have to be careful how I say this because I don't want people to get the wrong idea, but for someone that has become a recognized icon of the city of St. Augustine, it is hard to say no, and it is hard to put myself in a position where I should not be able to do something for all the people that call and ask to do things. So it's very important to me. So we did that. I did the pictures for little Devin. I had a couple of other photographic opportunities this weekend, and it's always just a wonderful thing for me, and it makes me feel good all the time. So on that note, That's our crew adventures. Now, we do have one other crew adventure that is now going to be ongoing. It started last week, but I still needed some of the permissions that we needed. But it is now an ongoing project that we are now doing. Let me see where it is. Drum roll, please. There. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a little off there. We are going to do some t-shirts to help out the podcast. The logo is a little lower down than it is there. I made a mistake there. I'll adjust that later. But if you'd like to buy a t-shirt to help out the show, we are also going to give a portion of some of the money to the Humane Society. And it says so at the bottom in those yellow letters, but that looks really ugly too. I'll repair all that. Sometimes it looks good on the screen until you start to use it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Sports Corner is who we go to for most of our t-shirts and printing. They're helping us out. They've made us a good deal. We'd like to sell 50 to 100 shirts. It will help out the podcast, but it will also help out the Humane Society, because every summer they really need to do a drive on having food for those pets. So we're going to help them out a little bit. And we would like you to support us and help support the Humane Society. The first 50 people that join up and buy a t-shirt will receive one of these. I guess I should take the picture down now, right, Davey? I'm learning. We'll receive one of our new tokens, one of our newest tokens, like a drink token that you can bring in and show to everyone as our sign off and everything else. So the first 50 people will get one of these tokens. That $26, ladies and gentlemen, per shirt includes any fees if you go on Venmo and PayPal, unless you want to add an extra buck just to cover fees, and it will cover if we have to do some shipping. So we tried to make it a roundabout figure all the way around, so all you do is pay one fee and we take care of everything. If you look, you have until the 31st of May. So you have 32 days. This is a 32-day project. And then Sports Corner said they could have the t-shirts out for me in 10 to 11 days. So we'll have all the shirts in everybody's hand between the 15th of June and the end of June. So if you'd like to be a part of this and help us out and help the Humane Society, and the Humane Society is going to have a date in June when they're going to come on and tell us about their projects and what they do. We've had them on the show before, but they'll be on the show that night, and then we will turn around and give them a check as a start off with the project. Now, Mandy, I have a question, because you're my go-to person for all these questions. We do have a way to start taking, or will have a way to start taking donations from people also via our site during a live show, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I could probably do it now if you really wanted to.
Well, we have a couple of things I need to finish out with YouTube to make sure everything's legit, but that might be one of our first shows that if you would like to help us and match up with everything that we give them from the t-shirts, that would be a good night to maybe test it out. So we have until June to work on that, but there may be some other shows that we're going to start doing that. If you want to support some of the people we're doing work with, we'll have that option available to you. All right. Upon that note, I guess it's time for our guest forum, which we have no guest. And since we have no guest, many of you know that my birthday is coming up. And 2 weeks ago, I fell down a flight of stairs. I'm none the worse for wear, but it made me feel old. So over the weekend, my wife and I were talking. She said, well, let's have some fun and poke fun at all of us as we're getting old. And so we're going to do a little bit of humor tonight, using some memes and the fact we're getting old, and just have an open conversation with anybody that is watching us. Any of the people that are in our groups here that want to comment as we do things. Hi, Captain Mako. Thank you very much. Happy birthday. Well, birthday's not for another 8 days, but we figured we'd get a jump on it. So I have a list of all of the memes that I collected for the day as I was thinking of funny things to talk about. So let's start off with this one. Since I'm stealing memes off of the internet, I thought this would be a fun one to kick off with. Hey, when you see some scallywag has pirated your meme, but then when you see a meme, you yourself have pirated already. So we're borrowing other people's comedy tonight to have some fun. What do you think? Well, let's go with this one. And you are open to comment on everything, people. We want you to comment, say something. I'm still learning how a damn mouse works. I don't know my age or how to act my age because I've never been this old before. It's funny. I will be 66 years old in 8 days. I don't really feel it unless I fall down a flight of stairs. But I really have never been 66 before, so I'm not sure how I'm supposed to act. So I thought this was an appropriate way to start talking about and making fun of us being old. What do you think, Davey? Now, as we go through these, I get to delete them. That's kind of neat because I don't need them again. But this one here, don't worry about getting older. You're still going to do dumb stuff. It's just going to be only slower. That's it. Yep. Davey, since I can't see the comments as I'm doing this, you'll have to watch the comments. You and Mandy can watch the comments and pop any comments up that come in conjunction with our memes. Does that sound all right?
Sure.
All right. Very good. So I'll go back to that line. Maybe, you know what? Next time, if I had that other screen up, if I had figured out how to mute it, we could have had two screens then, right?
Yes.
Well, it's a learning process, but we'll figure it out. This is a good one. The older I get, the more I understand why roosters start their day off by screaming. Yes. Boy, is that the truth. Every morning, I feel like a box of cereal. Snap, crackle, and pop. Right. This next one, well, this is just as it is as you get older with the woman or the man that you've been with for dozens of years. I can't do both. It's either going to have to be one or the other. How about this one? This is now, since we are old, anybody fall into this one? I actually remember we had a phone that color in our house. Anybody else remember that? But
Yeah.
It was rotary. It was not push button. That's a little bit more modern. We had a rotary phone.
We did too. It was yellow.
And it was yellow. It was harvest yellow, if I remember the color. Harvest yellow or harvest orange. Yes, we had one of those. Anybody making a comment on that phone? Yeah, that's my wife, Miss Creamer there, saying, I just bent over to pick something up and was in pain for 2 days. We have another friend. I don't know if they're watching, but if Miss Jean is watching, we know that she hurt her knee this past week, and she says she doesn't even know what she did to hurt it. Let's see. Harvest Gold. Match the appliances in the kitchen. Absolutely right. That was the color. Harvest Gold. And the appliances in the kitchen match the phone, same yellow. The house we lived in, that Ransom's my brother. The house I remember that phone being in was the house that we lived in the second time around when we moved back to Abilene after we were in Arkansas. But I don't remember the address. I remember the address of our first house, but I won't tell anybody that because it might be some of my codes for some of my accounts. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is kind of a laid-back show tonight. I hope that you're enjoying the laughs. I had laughs pulling up some of this stuff today. It made me laugh out loud. Now, I am a big fan of Statler and Waldorf. And this one just made me laugh, and I thought I had to share this one. I don't care how nice the soap smells. You should never walk out of the restroom sniffing your fingers. I still am laughing at that one. That one's funny. I was on an entire page of these guys. These were my favorite Muppets of all the Muppets. But if you can't laugh at that one, well, I don't know what you're going to laugh at. But that's a good one. Now, this next one, I expect to hear a comment or two, because here is how most of us survived our childhood. Fly swatters, belts, flip-flops, or hangers. I survived all four of them.
Or spatulas.
Spatulas too.
Or wooden spoon. Mom
Wooden
broke one of those on my butt.
Sure, we can go find a list.
Yeah. My mom had a paddle that was labeled the Board of Education. And she got so mad at my brother and I one day. It was when we lived in Abilene, and I think maybe I was in the second grade. My mom got so mad, she slammed the paddle down on the dining room table and split it in half. And we didn't cheer right away, but it got thrown away after that. So, and there was one other thing too. If you're from the South, those of you from the South will relate to this. Sometimes we had to go out back and cut our own switches too. Zachary Harker had a wooden spoon that is several generations old. These are the things that make you feel like you're old, or at least give you the idea that you are old. There's some others that I'm going to be popping up that's going to give you the same idea. And I just, because of my birthday and because of everything else, just wanted to have a relaxing evening and just have some good laughs with everybody. This will be a nice, easy show. It may not get a lot of attention, but we'll have some fun with it. So we survived all of that, and everybody had their own paddle or butt whoopers. But someone said 30 years ago, and my mind went, yeah, 1970s. This actually happened to me the other day. Somebody was talking, we were talking about the great music of disco time, but they were talking about the 1990s. So it made me feel really old, for sure. I see a few other comments are popping up. Yeah, Miss Kara's, their paddling device was green. Avocado green. I remember that color also. Yep, very much. Go back into there. Remove that. I'm removing them as I play them so that we don't have to worry about them later on. Put that back up there. Let me see that again. Yeah, I should probably have my butt turned to the fire. Probably need to get the fire chief out. So let's see. Here's another one for you. This one made me laugh too. If you watch the movie, so we said tonight would be trivia and humor. So here's trivia. This is an easy one. What movie was this from? Let's see who the first one is to pop in with what movie this was from.
I know.
You can't answer. So let's see who comes in with the right answer. And Mandy Joe, just stay silent. Our parents bought one. It said Pa is boss, as everyone knows, but what Ma says always goes, and victims sign the reverse. Ransom Mayhem got it. Willy Wonka. But the meme, I saw this as far as old. Grandpa Joe is bedridden in that movie, but Charlie gets a golden ticket, and all of a sudden Grandpa Joe can walk and sing and dance.
Donna said she would have been furious if she had been that daughter. 20 years bedridden, all of a sudden you can get up and dance around after she's been waiting.
Dance and have a good time. Yep. Social Security fraud right there and documented in Willy Wonka. Oh, man. This next one will hit home on a few of you. 1 minute you're young and fun, and the next you're turning down the stereo in your car so you can see better. How many of you have been driving along and you're kind of lost trying to figure out what you're doing, looking at your phone for your maps and everything else, and you have to turn the stereo down so you can figure out where you're at? That's me. The actor was also in Chico and the Man.
I remember that show.
Ah, you're right. Very good put up there. Very good trivia. That's right. Very good. Chico and the Man, and he was the man. That was a good show. It's a shame, though, that the actor playing Chico had to succumb to his depressions. That's a shame. So if you have to turn your car stereo off while you're trying to find your way around, raise a hand. Go ahead, raise a hand. Let's see who else is there. Anybody? No, nobody's going to own up to it. All right, I understand. Let's see. Let's do this one. Nope, we're going to talk about that later. We'll go back to it. Go hide that one. Go to, not that one. Hide that one. They're so small I can't see them very well. Let's see. Let's do this one. There we go. Back in the day when you could not hide behind a computer screen. This one I thought was appropriate. I'm gonna keep this one and use it. What do you think, Mandy? That's a good one, right? Yeah. Yeah.
That's your keyboard warriors right there.
That's it, right there. That's the one. That's why some things are the way they are today, ladies and gentlemen. You have a computer and a keyboard and miles of distance between you. Hi, at our age, would you rather have Parkinson's or Alzheimer's? Parkinson's is better to spill half an ounce of alcohol than to forget where you keep the bottle. I'm going to rebuild that one and make it into rum and do a couple of pirate characters and rebuild that one. No one better. I have to turn the radio down on at the ATM. Yeah, that's true. Radio's got to turn down while you work the ATM machine. Very good. What's this next one? This was my favorite playground equipment. I loved this. Getting thrown off right and left, total carnage, wails of anguish. Not one adult gave a single crap about it. I love this. And in the summertime, it burnt too because it was all metal. Davey, did you ever ride one of those?
Yep. We used to get on there. You hold on and somebody would see who could last the longest. There'd be somebody be there spinning around as fast as you can. Who could last?
Yeah. Mandy, did you ever ride one of these?
Yeah, we had one. So the elementary school I went to was like 100 years old. And so we had that with all the gravel. And it was see who we could throw faster off of them. And we knocked a few teeth out of some kids with it. So
that's right. And the ground was gravel. The ground was always gravel in the playgrounds because that was the softest. And Zachary Harker, he made a good comment. It was Freddie Prince. Thank you, Jim. You're right. I couldn't remember his name. So Zachary says, still funny to try and ride it as an adult. I'd like to have, you know what? I'd like to put one in my backyard and you have to ride it while drinking rum.
That'd be very bad.
It would be bad. But there are some professional rum drinkers in our crew. I bet they could be thrown off of it, holding their shot of rum and never spill a drop.
That's what you do is you see how long they can hold their drink.
Yeah, that would be interesting. We might have to. So my wife is watching. I think we should build one. Maybe we could build one out of wood.
She says no.
What? She says no.
She says no.
Oh, come on.
I don't even know you can get those anymore. They've removed them out of everywhere we could find in Utah.
Yeah, they're probably not around, but I'm gonna look. But I think I'm gonna have to build something. All right, let's go on. Who else do we have? Jim says, you know you're old when you had a plastic rake that used after you vacuumed the carpet for shag carpets only. Yep, I remember that too. Had to rake your carpet indoors. My wife says we can't do this because we're brittle and we'll break. Well, we are brittle. We might break. But hey, I'm all for going out in style.
I could picture Tinker getting on there.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Have Tinker up there? Yeah. And tell him he's got to stand up there and dance. That's a good one. I saw that and I had to post that one tonight. So this one, childhood injuries: fell off your bike, fell out of a tree, twisted your ankle, bloodied up. Adult injuries: slept wrong, sat down too long, sneezed too hard. Pretty much the way it is. Isn't that right, my dear? Listening to in the other room. Let's remove that one and go with this one. To reach old age with wisdom, one had to be young and stupid with a lot of luck.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, when
I can't put Kara's comment.
What's that?
I can't put that up. We'll get banned.
So for some reason, when I saw this one, knowing all the people that I have watching our show, Jim, I figured you'd make the biggest comment on this one.
Oh man, I had one of those. Do you remember the wooden telephones?
Yeah.
Well, I had one and it had I don't know if there was a little metal attachment on the back thing. Somehow I thought if you plugged it in there, it would work for real. Yeah, it zapped me. I put it right into the socket.
Well, that would explain a few things then, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Our daughter Stephanie did that with keys, and I just see that Harker, if you're going to be dumb, you better be tough. That's a good one. I like that. If you're going to be dumb, you better be tough.
So Bo taught me that you can take gum wrappers, like the foil ones, and they throw more sparks than the butter knives do. Apparently, he almost burned down a building doing that. I don't know if it was a school or a church, but he was telling me about that one day.
Wait.
It's like gum wrappers? Legitly, you were using gum wrappers to burn down a school?
Wow.
Is that why he's not allowed in the Mormon churches now? What a good one. What a good one. All right, let's see what else is here. I only got a couple more. I only have one more, in fact. One more. And hopefully, I figure this was a good one to do for the very end. Because, well, when you see it, you'll understand why. This one made me laugh too, because my wife and I always argue at each other about how we just are going to have to put each other down. Just that's nothing else we have to do. But this was a funny one to me. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of what I spent the day doing, looking at stuff, trying to figure out some fun things. Any comments that want to be brought up, that would be wonderful. But while I was doing this, I did figure out how to make our own memes. So here's two memes that you will see in the future as advertisements for our show. It's called Sorting. The dumb ones were solved. Or is that a pic of a little Ben Franklin? So here's one that we're going to use as an advertisement once in a while. Let's have people tell us what they think of it. I don't watch all podcasts, but when I do, I prefer Captain's Quarters Podcast every Monday at 8 p.m. Aye, the playground swing with the long chains. Yeah, I saw a meme that said my goal was to do a 360 on a swing set, a playground swing set. So, what do people think of that one? And then another one that we'll use is this one. Ah, you're right. You can fix burnt car fuses with the gum wrapper.
You could do a lot of things with gum wrappers. I just didn't know you could set buildings on fire with them.
Hey, everybody that wanted to be MacGyver carried gum in his pocket. And this is the other one. Quiet. It's finally time for something worth watching. Captain's Quarters Podcast on YouTube, Monday, 8 p.m. What do you think of those two, Mandy?
They were fun Muppets growing up.
Yes. And I think they'll be good for advertising our show. Upon that note, ladies and gentlemen, that's our fun time, unless any comments pop up. You guys have been a lot of fun letting me get on all this. We have a few more comments here. Let's see. D. Gregory says, I miss the old playground with the long chains. Let me go back and get rid of that picture. Davey, I'm still learning this. Can you, if I miss something, can you go in and do it on top of me, like remove it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, in the future, you might have to go in and back up the captain here. Let's see what Kara had to say. Couldn't you light a fire with a gum wrapper and a battery, the kind that sting your tongue? You could. I know that you could use the gum wrapper to extend the direction of the battery. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope the show hasn't been too sedate for you tonight. Next week, we do have a really good guest coming on. It'll be Miss Gina of the Ancient City Sirens, because next Monday is International Belly Dance Day. So we'll be talking about belly dancing and all the things that Gina has done. Let's see. Let me go over here to this side and see where my notes say to do something. I lost that note. So, Davey, I guess it's time for This Week in History. You want to do that one? It's sponsored by Dick's Wings, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want a good lunch, Dick's Wings. They just put on some new specials. One of their great specials they have 4 different flavors of hot dogs. They got a great hamburger for under $10 for their lunch special. And
great hamburger.
Great hamburgers, really great. Probably some of the best hamburgers for the price in the entire city. Dick's Wings out here on US 1 by the shores. They're one of our big sponsors, and we hope that you'll go out there and try them out. So, show us that This Week in History.
Welcome to This Week in History, sponsored by our good friends at Dick's Wings Bar and Grill. Wings, salads, wraps, quesadillas, and more. No matter what your taste buds crave, they've got you covered. We begin This Week in History in the year 1429. Joan of Arc arrives at the Siege of Orleans. 1789. George Washington is inaugurated as the first president of the United States of America at Federal Hall in New York City. 1803. Chancellor Robert Livingston and James Monroe signed Louisiana Purchase Treaty in Paris at the cost of $15 million, doubles the size of the USA. 1840. Penny Black, the world's first adhesive postage stamp issued by Great Britain. 1852. First edition of Peter Roget's Thesaurus published in Great Britain. 1872, Jesse James' gang robs a bank of $1,500 in Columbia, Kentucky, killing bank employee Robert A.C. Martin during the crime. 1936, New York Yankee Joe DiMaggio makes his major league debut, gets 3 hits. 1939, Batman first appears in Detective Comics number 27. Also in 1939, FDR becomes first president to appear on TV when NBC RCA Television broadcasts the opening of the 1939 New York World's Fair. 1941, General Mills introduces Cheerio Oats, renamed Cheerios in 1945, an oat-based ready-to-eat cold cereal. 1945, conscientious objector Desmond Doss saves 75 wounded soldiers in the Battle of Okinawa at Hacksaw Ridge, later depicted in the Oscar-winning film Hacksaw Ridge. 1946, The Postman Always Rings Twice, film based on the novel by James M. Cain, directed by Tay Garnett and starring Lana Turner and John Garfield, is released. 1952, Mr. Potato Head is first toy advertised on television. 1974, U.S. President Richard Nixon said he will release edited tapes made in the White House. And finally, in 2019, the cast of The Big Bang Theory are the first TV actors to be immortalized in cement outside Hollywood's Chinese Theater in Los Angeles. And that was This Week in History.
Very good, Davey. Very good. This Week in History. Mail Call and Captain's Corner, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. And I only have one thing, and it's mostly just a question from the Captain's Corner. More than anything else, just a question. We always try to make sure that we keep our show very middle of the road and non-political. And Davey and I have had comments of why we should or should not step out into the political arena. We don't want to. Well, I shouldn't say we don't want to. We do want to, but we really don't want to put the show in a situation that could cause us some issues. But something I saw the other day just made me shake my head as I walked out of the store, because to me, it shows how ridiculously silly things have gone in the direction that we're going with all this woke and what do you call it? Gender recognition, I think it's called. So here's what happened. I'm in a store. I'm not going to say what store. I'm not going to say the name of the person because I don't want it to be a problem. I just am confused. The person that checked me out, and it's not a grocery store, I'll at least leave it as that. The person that checked me out had a name badge on, had her name badge on with her name on it. And I do this often. When I go into a store, if you have a name badge on, I will say something to you using your name. It's polite, it's proper, and more people should do it. But under her name, she had, my pronouns are her, she, them. So here's my question. Why do I need to know that if your name is on the badge? If I'm going to address you by your name, what do I care? Why is it important? Why is it even a topic of conversation? Good people refer to each other by their names, not by what they are or what they think they are or what they want to be. Now, some people may disagree with me on this point, but in my opinion, humble as it may be, if I know your name and we're just greeting to exchange money for a business transaction, I don't need to know your life. It's not important. That being said, I realize that some people may get upset with me, but I just don't understand why we have to push that limit. We know your name, and that's fine. And I referred to the person by name. Whatever. And it was a girl. It was a female, by the way. So I didn't need to see on the name tag, she, her, and I just didn't need to see it. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's pushing an issue that does not need to be pushed. On that note, that's from the Captain's Corner right now. Davey, I know that you and I have had conversations like this. So if you can just nod your head if you want. All right. I don't think I have anything else. And if anybody disagrees with me and wants to open that as a conversation for just a few minutes, by all means, please do. I'm willing to have a chat. As I always say, a difference of opinion, a difference of belief should be the opening of a door for conversation, not the opening of a door for violence. Now, I did see that Mr. Gregory posted something here in the names. Let's see. Cutthroat Nicole loved them also. We were all devastated when my hometown replaced them. Aye. Yes. Talking about the merry-go-round. And Jim says, half-pound chili dog is also great. Yes, it is. That half-pound chili dog is wonderful. That's my favorite of all of them at Dick's Wings, that half-pound chili dog. Jim, you'll have to let me know next time you go in there. It's only down the street from me. Maybe we can go and have a dog and a brewski together. On that note, it's been a quiet night. I don't think I've missed anything. Have I, Davey? Ah, that's right. We were going to talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the poster for the movie that the crew is working on. Time will tell. We're not exactly sure when the movie will be coming out, unless Davey has an update that I don't know about yet.
I only know that those of us that are in it will get to, I think in October, we actually get to see a, screening of it.
We're hoping to do a screening of it at the Colonial Quarter in October, and it might be a week or two out from the St. Augustine Swashbuckler Spooktacular, so it will be an advertisement event for Spooktacular also. So we'll find out a little bit more as it comes along, and we'll be letting everybody know. But there's the poster for it right there. Time will tell. Who's that ugly pirate on the right-hand side there in the shadows? Oh, well. On that note, I think we've got everything else. And as I said, future guest, which would be next week, May 6th, Miss Gina, World Belly Dance Day, and July 8th, birth of Superman. As I said earlier, the Humane Society will be on board in June, and I have talked with the Sheriff's Department, and the Sheriff is working on some dates for either July or the 1st of August. But as always, we like to tell everybody, if you have a crew, a group, or an event, and you'd like to advertise your event with us, please send us a message. Please let us know. We'd like to help support you. As we've always said, supporting events can be done with money, appearance, and advertisement. And we can do at least the advertisement for sure. Let's see. And Jim put something else up there. What did he put? If it is a business, I don't need to know your pronouns. We're not going on a date. You're absolutely right, Jim. Very good. All right. So I don't have anything else to say or show, but we do have a few things to do to say thank you to everybody.
We need to find out the answer to the joke.
We do. And one other thing, let's make sure that before we go to everything else, do Mini Mayhem's reveal, and let's I'm going to pop one other thing up there real quick, but do Mini Mayhem now.
Okay, it's time for the answer to the joke of the week. How do pirates like their eggs? The answer is hard-boiled with plenty of sea salt.
Okay.
Sea salt.
Yes, the sea salt was the answer. Very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just one more quick one here. Let me see where it went. It is. Oh, Davey, I think I removed the. No, I didn't. There it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, one more last. I just saw Bo pop in. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, your opportunity to buy a t-shirt and help out Oh, okay. Something interesting there. I didn't know about it. I'll have to ask Davey. I'm seeing things all the time happen here. So we'll leave it alone for now. So if you want to buy a t-shirt, ladies and gentlemen, $26. When you do that, when you go on PayPal or Venmo, please make sure that you put your name, a contact information, and a size of the shirt. We are trying to, we are sticking with medium, large, and extra large. But if they get it, we get 2X and 3X, there is an extra charge, and that's not figured into the $26. And we don't have, for the most part, any smalls. The reason we're doing it this way is I just did not want to buy a whole mess of shirts and then have them sitting there not being used. So please help us out, support the podcast, and help support the Humane Society. We'd love to have you doing that. You can PayPal or Venmo, and or if you happen to be in St. Augustine and want to come see me on a tour at the museum, send me a message and ask when I'm going to be there. I know I will be there this Saturday, but I will not be there Sunday. It will be the same the next weekend also. I believe I will be there Sunday, but not Saturday. And then the last 2 weekends of May, I will not be there at all. Also, the Venmo QR code works. My shirt is ordered. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that. Huzzah. Very good. On that note, Davey, I believe it's time to thank our crew.
The Captain's Quarters podcast is indeed a ship sailing the seas of the world, always in search of history, knowledge, and adventure. It takes a crew to run a ship, so we take this opportunity to thank those who help keep this ship afloat.
The casting crew: Captain William Mayhem, Navigator Davey Longwood, Gunner Hellfire Henley, Cartographer Mandy Joe, the Powder Monkey, and Juan Cam.
Helping others gives a crew purpose. Our treasured charities that we support: Inc., investing in kids; the Humane Society of St. Johns County; Aelia's Acres, a no-kill animal rescue zone; and the Cadets of the St. Johns County Fire Department. The 4 major charities that we support, but there's always room for more.
You too can be part of the crew and support the show in many ways. Go to Patreon. A small monthly contribution as Powder Monkey or First Mate memberships, or a single contribution. PayPal or Venmo. Go to YouTube. Hit the like and follow buttons to join our ranks and support the show. It does take a crew. Thank you.
So if anybody's curious, my birthday is, because somebody asked, my birthday is May 7th, which is next Tuesday. So we'll talk. I'm going to do some things to make fun of my age, show some old photographs of my past. And I'm sure Gina will want to help laugh at me also while she's on the show. On that note, show our platforms, Davey. You can watch us on YouTube every Monday night. As I tell everybody, if you watch us live on YouTube or our Facebook channel, you can at least make comments like everybody else has done. And it would be nice to have everybody make their comments. You can watch us on Spotify. You can watch us on Instagram. You can listen to us on Stitcher, iHeart, Castbox, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music. Great ways to keep up with us. Our numbers, have they gone bigger? Do we need a drum roll?
Yes, they have gone bigger.
good, very good. Our numbers, we're only 9 away from 1565. Do we have a way of knowing who comes in?
Sometimes. And we're actually at 1559 now.
Are we really?
Yeah, it went up during the show and a little bit before. But if their profile is not set as private, we can see it when they come through.
So, because I'd like to find out who falls into the 1565th slot.
We just
Because
have to
they're-
watch. And we
so
should be
we
able to,
watch.
as long as their profile is open, we can see it.
All right. So whoever hits into the 1565th spot as a subscriber to the show, we are going to do a special thank you in some way, shape, or form. Very good. On that note, there's our email, ladies and gentlemen. Keep track of us. Send us messages. Again, if you are a part of a captain of a crew, the royal family of a Renaissance festival, you have an art show going on, you have anything going on, please let us know. We'd like to start talking about all of it everywhere across the state, and maybe even in Georgia and wherever else. If my grandson Jax is watching, hey, thank you for watching. I'm glad you were able to watch. On that note, I don't have anything else more to say. It was a very quiet and sedate show tonight. Not as much energy as we normally have, but it's been, I will say this, January, February, March have been extremely busy, and it started to tone down in April, and now we've reached the end of April, and the first 4 months of this year have gone by whizzingly fast. I know that Mandy Jo had a whole bunch going on this weekend also. She's been on the road and doing a lot. And I know Davey has been busy too. I only have 4 tours for the remainder of this week. I have plenty of off time, and I hope to catch up with things. And I hope to catch up with everybody, messages and everything else. So on that note, we can't do it without you. And we have a good sign off right now. Take her away, Davey.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always. We can't do it without you. Tune in next week when we have Miss Gina and Ancient City Sirens and World Belly Dance Day. And we'll just let's make fun of Captain William Mayhem for his 66th birthday. Bye.